In a world wrought with devastation, two unite into one to form a superior combination. One white, one black. This is their story of the anime aspect.
Thank you so much, Ancient One, for that beautiful introduction. All right, thank you so much for joining us here at the Anime Aspect. This is episode number 2. We're going to talk about more anime, if you haven't guessed from the name. And I think the first episode, I just want to give a brief recap about...
Do you remember what we talked about?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, by the way, I'm Brave Dave, and
yes,
this
and
guy over here is...
I am Matt Swagger.
Matt Swagger,
yeah, I just got carried away with that introduction, and it's beautiful, man. Can't believe how much, I had to pay for that, though, but God, you gotta do what you gotta do. Not everybody uses Fiverr, but yeah, the first episode is our inaugural episode, of course. We just laid the foundation for what we want you to know what the show is about, and it's going to be all about anime, manga, cosplay, conventions that are coming up, meetups, what anime means to us. And for Brave Dave, someone that hasn't really watched anime as religiously as I have or others have, it's more of a journey.
I'm not the most religious person. I'm pretty bad at. I went to Catholic school my whole life. I'm just really bad. I'm a bad Christian.
He needs to find his faith in something, and I think anime is going to be it for him. It's going to save him from the despair and the devastation, as Ancient One put it, in this world.
So what should I do with all my Hustler magazines?
Still use them, because that's a great way to escape from the world, too.
It doesn't matter, because the pages are stuck.
Oh, man. Too much adhesive on your fingers there?
Yeah, I guess.
You want to make sure you can turn the page, now it turned against you. And so...
More anime! All right.
Anime! Yeah, it was a great first episode and great introduction to what I know what anime means to me, being able to speak about it and being able to share that with you guys and with Brave Dave, and being able to be on this journey, seeing him progress with watching different animes, his takes on it, and I know that he's watched 3.
Yeah, this week. So from the last episode to this episode, I watched 3. And I do want to start off by saying that, and I don't think I really ever told Matt this, but there was a time where I could say I was kind of prejudiced against anime.
Oh my God.
Because there was a lot of people in my circle that were big into anime, and I was like, anime is cool and all, but I would say things like 90% of anime is crap, because there were some things that I saw that I liked, but I wouldn't say I was the biggest fan of anime, and then there are other things where I'd watch them and I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this thing?
But to me, that's what made it great.
But listen, you and I are the same age, and I won't reveal what that age is, because
we're very young still.
We're still very young. Anyway,
oh yeah. And good looking too.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so 80s, 90s, we were watching cartoons like Transformers, G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
There was even a RoboCop cartoon back in the late
RoboCop.
80s, which was actually pretty violent.
Plastic Man.
Plastic Man was great. Then you also, beyond the Disney animated movies, you remember in the early 90s when they had the Disney block?
Yeah.
Rescue Rangers, DuckTales.
Oh, God, yeah.
My personal favorite was probably Tailspin. I love Tailspin, you know what I mean?
Tailspin was the shit.
I still want to cosplay
Darkwing Duck.
I still want to cosplay as a Kit Cloudkicker,
Oh, we gotta get you to do a cosplay. That'd be fantastic.
That'd be great. I'm tired of going as Diggle every year.
You Diggle every day, not every year.
That's racist.
Oh my God! Oh. White person just said something?
Oh no!
God, put me on the cross right now.
That's right. Anyway, but okay, so we kind of grew up watching the same stuff, right? I mean, there was X-Men, you got Wildcats, all these American cartoons. So for me when I first got introduced to anime, I didn't even really know what it was, right? So as a kid, I was watching things like Speed Racer. I was
Yeah.
watching things like G-Force. That was on, Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
And again, I knew it looked slightly different because those cartoons were older. They were like, what, late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. So I thought, to me, it was just like, well, this is probably just an aging cartoon. This is old. Like Johnny Quest, right? So...
The thing is, with anime, when we're watching it when we were kids and we didn't know what it was and it looked old, probably because it was old.
Right.
Anything that comes over here is like maybe 2-3 years, and depending on the kind of show and the network,
at that time it might have been a decade.
It's probably at least 10 years or more, because not everyone understands what it was about, especially back then. Someone had the foresight to say, wow, this looks visually stunning, so I think this would do well on our network.
Right.
So that's why you got, in the early days, you saw some of that come through.
Right. I mean, but that's the way television works on a global scale.
Yeah.
Like, the shows that we have here are sold all over the world.
Yeah.
And, they're translated into different languages and that kind of stuff. And, when we were watching shows like Married with Children, it probably took a few years before it got to Japan or Germany. And, I mean...
It's just great if it gets syndicated on another network. That's what they, at that time, I know what they look forward to.
But look at a show like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. Globally, that show was huge.
Yeah.
Baywatch took over the entire world. But sometimes, these shows can go overseas instantly. Sometimes it takes years. With anime, especially at that time where things were still very new, it took a little bit longer. But anyway, back to my point, I was more familiar with a lot more of the American animations that I was watching. And then, again, we brought this up last week when Sci-Fi Channel would have their anime weeks hosted by Apollo Smiles.
Yeah.
Nice tight outfit.
She was banging. We had to look back because I really didn't remember it.
Oh, I remember that shit, dude.
And when I was looking on YouTube,
it was like a white cat suit, right?
Yeah, it was like this kind of. She looked just like she was out of an anime, and she called herself the live action anime girl, which was brilliant.
And I mean,
at that time,
and she was totally sexualized.
Oh, now, she was. Her nipples were popping.
Right.
She's doing these roundhouse kicks, showing her meat down there.
If anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, go to YouTube right now and just type in Apollo Smile. Basically, like,
you'll thank us.
She was hosting the anime segments on the so Sci-Fi Channel will air anime throughout the entire week, all these different movies, and she was kind of like hosting the shows, like in between.
She's keeping those adolescent teen boys, in front of that TV, keeping them get that wood there.
They didn't want to hire a guy that looked like me because I'm not going to keep anybody's attention.
You ain't gonna have a guy hosting that because no one's gonna watch.
Listen, I think I could look good in a cat suit.
I think I could too, but
bro?
we're not gonna have the audience that they're gonna want. That's for sure.
Hey man, as long as our mothers watch.
Mommy, did I look good?
Hey ma.
Of course, son, you look beautiful. Want some butterscotch?
Oh no. But anyway, so I started watching some of that stuff, and some of it was cool. Some of it was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, all right, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, you are the American ambassador of anime, right?
The ambassador of anime in America. Right. Yes, self-proclaimed.
He says this with no ego. Anyway,
that's right. I think I deserve the moniker for the work I've done promoting conventions and anime throughout my years. I'm very proud of that moniker, and I plan to keep using it. Thank you.
But let me ask you a question. So, because I think you can understand what I mean. Now, this might be more of a thing with the anime movies. Okay. But, all right, usually these things are about like 2 hours long, right? Anywhere from like 90 minutes to 2 hours long, right?
Yeah, hopefully. If it's good, yeah.
Now, well, don't ask me to name a specific movie because I won't remember, because this is, again, back in the 90s when, this show was airing on Sci-Fi Channel during the week. But, like, you'd be watching the movie. Mm-hmm. All right, you're watching, okay, this is cool. You get introduced to the character. It takes about 20 minutes or so to kind of figure out, okay, what this story is going to be about, the inciting incident, right? That's usually the case, 15, 20 minutes in, right?
True.
Now, all of a sudden, by the time you reach the second act or even halfway through the second act, there's like a weird transition into this fucking movie. And again, I can't name the specific film because I just don't remember. But this was something that I think I was noticing with like a ton of animes. I'm like, what the fuck is like what happened? Like, how did this character turn into this? Like, I just got all confused and shit.
Plot hole.
I mean,
that's what we call a plot hole.
I mean, beyond a plot hole, I just feel like the entire motivation of the movie changed, and another thing that I had to get familiar with was the with the Japanese culture, because I'm a big fan of like Japanese movies, Korean movies. One thing I noticed, especially with the Japanese stuff, is the melodrama.
Yeah.
And also the way comedy is inserted just out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's when you least expect it, it's something
Right.
like you have a pervert and he's looking at tits or an ass and he starts bleeding out of his nose and falls down. It's just
and sometimes it's with a character who's supposed to be like self-serious and then he breaks character for a sec. So I mean, but I really wasn't used to a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, no, you won't see that. America's too uptight.
Right.
Too uptight.
I don't think it's about really being uptight. It's a cultural thing, right? And well, I mean,
exactly.
but it's just it was very different.
Yeah.
So I will watch this stuff and I'm like, well, why is this character doing this? That doesn't make sense with his character. He's breaking character at this point. But but again, this was before like, we really had knowledge of what
it was all about.
Anime is, what this culture is.
Yeah. I remember, like we talked about last week, I remember being first introduced into anime, not knowing what it was, Speed Racer, Sailor Moon, and then, unfortunately, I didn't get to see Dragon Ball, but I seen Dragon Ball Z, and that's what got me hooked. And then, from there, I wanted to quench my thirst for more, and I would use the internet. Thank God we have that now, right? And I can just do endless research on, what anime is, the art style, the storytelling, what makes it so appealing, and then find these other shows that come out.
You must have really struggled during the 90s because there was not a lot of information out there.
No, when we were in high school, and in the guidance office, I would just go on the computer and use the internet.
I remember that. Yeah, I used to do that shit too.
It's either was looking up wrestling or anime.
Dude, one day, because Matt and I went to the same high school. You remember Morpheus? This was like after Napster.
Yeah,
I was trying to download Morpheus on the fucking like schools computers and shit in the guidance office.
In the guidance of all places.
I don't know.
Man, the things we got away with there. God bless it.
No, but back to what you were saying. I mean, but
I know I was.
You had to get the tape. There was no DVDs.
I felt bad. I felt bad, because how much I love Dragon Ball Z and how bad American studios are with getting it over quickly and dubbing it correctly and making it sound professional. I felt bad for my dad because he knows how much I loved it. He actually watched it with me, and we know that they were selling bootleg tapes at like a convenience store in the neighborhood, and it was $20 a tape, horrible copy, and I had the whole Cell Saga on tape. Yeah. So imagine how much that cost. But that's the desire that I had and the love I had for it. And when you have nice parents, great parents that care about you and are excited about what you're excited about, they're willing to help you and do whatever it takes to keep you happy. Right. And those tapes I tried to keep in great condition for a long time. I know one broke on me. I actually unscrewed it, did some reconstruction on it, and I was actually able to save it.
Look at you, Mr. Home Improvement.
I know, but I don't know where those tapes are now. I think my father threw them away when we moved at the time. So, yeah, as long as he threw it out, he knows he paid for it, and he threw it out. That's fine. But
listen, it was a rough time for guys like you kids growing up now. I mean, listen, you got
everything. You got Crunchyroll. You got these sites that do it illegally.
Well, you can find anything in under 30 seconds.
YouTube, you can get clips and recaps.
You didn't have
Wikipedia.
You didn't have to search to find the store, find the guy.
Yeah.
Who was selling the tapes, or I think there used to be a guy by Queen Center Mall. They used to sell the tapes back in the day. Because I knew a few people. I was never that guy trying to get the tapes of shit. But I had a lot of people in my circle that was really into this shit. They were getting the Japanese imports, and I was still kind of like, all right, I like Dragon Ball Z a lot. That was cool. Later on, when what do you call it? Cowboy Bebop came. Again, I said this last week. Cowboy Bebop, I think, is still my favorite. And even remember when they did the Cowboy Bebop movie, the animated movie. That was like, that was set. I think 3 episodes to the last, something like that, or
yeah.
Because after the movie came out, there was like 3 more episodes afterward that tied into the movie.
And speaking of Cowboy Bebop, even now we're in 2016 when Cowboy Bebop came out in Japan, as many years ago. You can get this now on Blu-ray disc. Selling on anime, and actually they list it there for you. So that says a lot to its popularity, how it holds up over time. Most anime does hold up over time. The classics, I can go back and I probably can watch Ronin Warriors, which is a really old. It was good too.
All right, see, I had a problem with that fucking show.
You didn't like Ronin Warriors? It's kind of like Power Rangers with Gundam tied into it.
Yeah, but I was bored. and Sci-Fi Channel used to air it, I think, on Saturdays or something like that. Dude, I was fucking bored with the. Listen, I'm older now. I'm a little bit more patient. I have a wife that tells me what to do. I'll give it another shot. For you, Matthew.
For me?
For you. Just because you're wearing a fucking sick Batman shirt right now.
I know I got my Batman manga shirt on.
That shit is sick, dude.
You can check out my Instagram at I am Matt Swagger, and you can see all my photos there. Yeah. Because this is purely audio, baby. Yeah. So.
No, but I'll give the show another shot. But I remember trying to watch it back then. I'm just like, I couldn't get into it.
In a time where we had limited shows, it was something that did entertain me at the time. Right. And then Gundam came on, and that entertained me. Gundam Wing, Rurouni Kenshin, not the Samurai X, the anime.
Dude, did you know that Gundam Wing goes back as far as like 79?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I was watching this. Listen, after the first show last week, and again, people like, I'm not the ambassador here of anime in America. I'm trying to get more involved into the anime culture. I want to be an official otaku one day.
That'd be great.
And I was actually watching some anime documentaries. So, so I discovered that a lot of the shows that kind of started coming out around the 60s, and then I was surprised that Gundam Wing goes back that far. I was like, holy shit!
And that tells you that the creators, the writers, and the illustrators behind these shows from then, the 70s, they came up with things that. We had Star Wars then to influence it, but you really had to have a special mindset to think of in-depth characters, a story, designs of a robot suit, a fighting robot, and...
Well, robots have, if you think about it, robots have always been kind of huge. Like, that kind of came around in, like, the 50s.
But especially in Japan.
No. I know what you're saying. No, here's the thing, right? All this shit influences each other.
Yeah.
Star Wars, a lot of Star Wars was influenced by, Japanese samurai films. In order to make Star Wars, he was inspired by Westerns, he was inspired by samurai films, and those Westerns that he watched were all kind of remakes of the samurai films. You know what I mean? So, like, everyone's kind of influencing each other.
That's what made it successful, because it had many elements. You had the lightsabers, which resemble a katana.
Right. Yeah.
And you had the laser blasters, which would be your revolvers. And you had the story of oppression. Right. So there's a lot of things. It's kind of like a live-action anime.
Think about the name. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. That was supposed to be, what's his name? Mifune? It was this actor that was in a lot of those Akira Kurosawa films. He was supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi. Didn't you find it odd that it's a Japanese name with the whitest dude on earth playing the role?
That's why sometimes I say, Ben, get out of my way, Ben. Ben Kenobi, yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, I just love. You know what I discovered too? I told you I got really into this shit. Matt over here gave me all this homework. I fucking hate homework, Matt.
So, you want to go into what shows that you watched the first episodes?
I'll go into that in a minute. I kind of wanted to. because I don't know if you knew this or not, but all right. So before we brought up cartoons like G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Yeah.
and then around 1991, I think it was 92,
Okay.
we got Batman the Animated Series.
Oh yeah, it's the quintessential
and,
cartoon of the time, and
but here's
still
the
holds
thing.
up.
It was a game changer.
It was,
And we didn't know it at the time.
Hell no.
You and I were like little kids.
Little kids, we were happy to see I know I love to see Batman, and that, for those who don't know, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. He is Batman to many of us.
Christian Bale.
Yeah, he's Batman in all respects because he entertained us in our childhood. That was when we read a comic, when we pictured Batman, we had that voice in our head, and then coming up with the animated movies when he would do, and then the video games, the Arkham games, having him do that. You know how much nostalgia, him and Mark Hamill. The Joker, no one could do that voice like Mark Hamill, man. And
I'm glad you brought up the voices, because when I said it was a game changer, if you notice, the sound in Batman the Animated Series was different from anything. It was more monotone, more stoic. You know, cartoons, you know,
really flashy and
that was coming from the late '80s, and because remember when Batman Animated Series came out, that was the transition into the '90s. We're talking about '92, meaning they were working on that show 2 years prior. They were working on that show while the first Batman movie came out. Think about it, because it takes a while to animate this shit. You know what I mean? Come up with stories, blah, blah, blah.
Especially the way they did it, and, you know, the dark tone to it.
But you got to think about what inspired that show. It was actually anime.
Of course.
Because there was no American cartoon like that at the time. The only cartoons that you could find that was doing shit like Batman the Animated Series was coming from the Japanese culture.
Another point, there was a Superman cartoon back, I think, in the 30s, 40s, that was done by, I forget the studio.
Oh, Fleischer?
Yes.
Was it? Yeah.
And that was
really good.
The quintessential Superman. So I think that's where they borrowed elements too from Batman animated series, because that for that time that cartoon looked sick.
Right.
I remember watching that and seeing
that. The whole Art Deco thing.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I said, "Wow, that was animated in that time.
Right.
That was ahead of its time by light years."
Yeah, I really enjoy, and because when we were kids, they were still airing that.
Yeah.
And you know, you got to think about, man, that was on the air for a while, dude.
And I like the S emblem he had. Everything was like on point. I'm like, wow, they knew what they were doing back then. I wish they could bring some of that to now, because the animation sometimes is seriously lacking, and that's why a lot of people turn to anime, because you have a consistent art form, you got consistent storytelling, you got continual character growth.
Well, I think the most important thing you just said was the storytelling aspect.
That you have to have a good story to keep us watching.
Because again, when you think about, and this does it ties into anime. When you think about what Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, all those greats did with that show, and what they were influenced by, you know, a lot of, again, you know, listen, we had fun cartoons in the 80s, you know, GoBots, blah, blah, blah. But this shit, it wasn't true storytelling. Yeah. When Batman the Animated Series arrived, that was storytelling.
It was.
You know what I mean? There was a beginning, there was a middle, there was an end, there was characters that you can have an emotional connection with. All these important elements that made us care about the characters.
And especially the Joker, for me, the Joker was great. Mark Hamill, you know, God bless him. He is so talented. You would never know if you didn't know who Mark Hamill is. He's Luke Skywalker, baby.
Right.
But everyone may know him more as the Joker.
Right.
And he's done other voices for Marvel. He's played different characters. You can always tell that he always sneaks in the Joker voice a little. Right. Even when he was on The Flash, when he reprised his role as the Trickster, he was full-blown Joker. Yeah. And God bless him for it. Just excited to have him voice the Killing Joke.
But it allowed the actors to act.
And he did it beautifully.
Right. It wasn't like, I need to save the day and go stop Cobra. Like, you know, that was cartoons in the 80s.
I don't know where he went into his mind to find that voice. It's brilliant. Because I tried copying that for years and I still can't get it down.
Well, the guy's an actor.
He's great.
And God, I forgot the woman's name, but
who, Tara Strong?
No. I was thinking about the because all these cartoons they have voice directors. Because
Okay.
remember they record the voices separately from the actual animation.
So think about that.
Right.
How
So-
well he does
Right.
doing
I
that.
mean-
But not have some people need to look at
Right.
the show
Right.
and try to
Right.
have their emotions match what's going on the screen.
Voice acting's hard.
It is, and you give this man the script.
Yeah.
Oh man, he'll do wonders with it.
They
Him
did
and
a
Kevin
good-
Conroy, a great team.
Conroy.
Tara Strong again. I bring her up. She's so talented. She did all the voices that you grew up with. She was a My Little Pony. She was Bubbles. She's
Yeah,
Raven.
from Powerful Puff Girls, right?
She's Ben 10, and she's getting to do that again. So if you don't know who Tara Strong is, you can look her up. She's extremely talented.
Very talented.
And God bless her as well for continuing. Oh, I forgot Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
How could I forget that? Puddin'.
That voice, dude. That voice was great. And again, I mean,
It was perfect because, again,
Right.
that's when you look in your head and when you think about Harley Quinn, Joker, Batman, you think that's the voice. And then when you hear when they have other voice actors do it, you get pissed off because that's not what I'm used to. That's not what I grew up with, and I'm someone that doesn't like change when I like something.
Right.
So don't change it on me unless this person really sounds good in this role. Like Jason O'Mara for the Batman, the voice of Batman now. I'm not into it.
I'm not into it. No.
Not into it, man.
Kevin Conroy, man.
Kevin Conroy, give the man the money. He's 60 years old. He's fit as a fiddle. Mark Hamill's in his 60s. They're both great. Give them the money they deserve because us fans, we love to hear them. And it doesn't matter if you love anime, you love American comics, you can appreciate talent. And that's real talent and class act talent.
When you look at the design of shows like Samurai Jack,
Another
Pop-Up
great show.
Girls, and those shows had the same people involved. It was Gennady Tuckertov, you had Craig McCracken. That new culture, those guys were the Cal Arts guys from the 90s. And everybody does know Cal Arts was like this big animation school that everyone tries to get into when you're trying to break into the industry, right?
Yeah.
But those guys, think about this. Those guys came up during the era of like, okay, yeah, you had the Hanna-Barbera stuff.
Ugh.
And I like the Hanna-Barbera
Yeah.
stuff. I grew up on it.
Of course,
But
we
also-
had no choice.
Right. But also, at that time, during the 80s, a lot of anime was starting to seep its way into the country.
Oh, yeah.
So now these guys are being influenced by those shows as well. Now, when those guys graduated college and around like somewhere around the early 90s when they started breaking into the industry, and went to pitch meetings, they were able to pitch shows like Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, another great one.
Again, Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack. And when you look at the aesthetic design of those shows, first of all, let's bring up Powerpuff Girls, right?
Yeah.
Just the big eyes alone
Oh, yeah.
instantly trace back to anime. Instantly.
And the fact that they don't have fingers or
yeah.
toes and stuff, that's things that really don't need
Right.
to transcend into...
But, at the time, because they did a focus group,
Yeah, it
a
just
lot of
saves on
kids
time.
didn't respond well to that because they were like, they just didn't understand about the fingers and why the eyes are so big. But Cartoon Network went on with the show anyway. They took a chance on it, and it worked out. Because again, like...
Because they look like they're little dolls to me.
Right,
That's
exactly,
that's
yeah.
what I get.
Right.
They're creations, so they're
Right.
living dolls
Right.
in my eyes
Right.
that have superpowers.
But just for remember, because if you were a kid at that time, you probably just came from watching Rescue Rangers, which is a great cartoon, right? But now you're watching something like Powerpuff Girls, and you're just like, this aesthetic is kind of weird. And remember
very
that
colorful and very
very
smooth, if I can say that.
And also think about that's when Cartoon Network had the What a Cartoon block. You had things like Johnny Bravo.
Oh, Johnny Bravo.
Remember that
the
they all had the
Animaniacs.
shorts, right? And all these things look aesthetically different, but they were being inspired by anime. Even a show like Freakazoid. Remember Freakazoid?
Yeah, hell yeah. Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, but again, with the aesthetic design of those shows,
He was definitely inspired by anime. Definitely.
The cultural shift. I mean, we were having a shift in the way cartoons were being made here. After the success of Batman the Animated Series, Disney got worried. They was like, man, they're kicking our butts in the ratings, right? So then that's when they said, all right, we're gonna do Gargoyles.
Oh man.
So Gargoyles was inspired by the success of Batman the Animated Series, which Batman was inspired by, what was happening in Japan.
God bless competition.
But that's what it is. It brings the best out of people, right?
It gives us what we want, and
Right.
we have these great shows. And Gargoyles, man, I loved Gargoyles. The animation and the voice acting was on point too.
Bring it back to a movie like Akira, right?
Yeah.
And you could see, like, all right, when you look at the tone of a movie like Akira, you could see a young Bruce Timm being like, I just love how that brought a new era of creators. Because in the 80s, all the cartoons were driven by toys.
Oh yeah.
Right? It was all about, okay, we just made this Ninja Turtle toy. We got to have a cartoon go with it. We just made...
It should be the other way around.
A Transform... basically, Transformers, G.I. Joe, they're basically just toys, but the best way to advertise it was to build a cartoon around it. In the 90s, in the creator-driven era, again, shows like Powerpuff Girls, Samurai Jack, Dexter's Laboratory, it was not about toy sales. Toy sales were derived from those shows.
Exactly. So it should be.
When you go back and you watch a lot of those cartoons, dude, a lot of that shit does not hold up in quality.
No.
You can watch Dexter's Laboratory from the early 90s and it still holds up now.
Yeah.
Try watching Transformers now from the 80s. That shit is retarded. It really is.
Well, yeah, we don't speak like that anymore.
Right, exactly.
Hey, Optimus Prime.
But I think it's just cool that these cultures could borrow from each other and have an exchange of ideas. I think that's great.
That's what the world's all about.
You know what I mean?
And if everyone would act that way,
everyone's in their box.
We wouldn't have the fucking problems that we do.
Yeah. Everyone's in their fucking box. Like, you get out of here.
Just everybody should watch anime, play video games, read their comics, and not care about what the other person next to you or across from you is doing. Worry about yourself.
Yeah.
Live your life, and be happy.
Right.
That's a recipe
I agree.
for a great life.
Remember that cartoon, The Big O?
Oh God. Yes.
Did you like it?
No.
All right. So
I thought it was mundane.
But it was mundane. But it was very. But you could tell it was hugely influenced by Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, because that guy was basically Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
the butler
terrible.
and the maid.
It was terrible.
I kind of
Big O, the bad dubbing.
Well, I mean, that was the first one. That was a terrible name.
The big orgasm's coming our
Exactly.
way. Here he comes. Watch out, he's squirting.
I don't know. It must have been what? It's been at least
Oh God.
14 years, 13
Terrible,
years
man.
since that's been on. But actually, I kind of liked it.
Man, I was happy forgetting about it until you brought it up. Now that's back in my mind. Thanks.
You're welcome, man. That's what I do.
Damn, it's horrible. Oh,
I'm the shadow in your life.
my shadow.
God,
God, that's almost as bad as One Punch Man. No.
I seen a few episodes of One Punch Man.
It's just I can't get into it.
I also want to bring up.
That's as your ambassador of anime. It doesn't mean, that's the thing. Loving anime doesn't mean you have to love every single anime. Just like I don't love every single American comic or comic book character.
Right.
You're gonna have your favorites, and then you're gonna have ones that it's not your cup of tea.
Well, because it has to stand on its own.
It doesn't.
If you say you don't like this specific anime film, you're talking about this isolated movie. But some people take that as you're hating on the culture, man. Shut the fuck up.
No, it's not hating on the culture, because if you're coming up now into anime and you're only watching it and you haven't watched the classics that come before you, then you don't know anime. You only know what's in the modern era. So you have to go and appreciate your roots if you want to gut that deep. You need to go back and you need to go pay homage to what came before these shows that gave them the inspiration to exist right now. One Punch Man is an amalgam of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, all these different kind of shows. It just doesn't hold up. You could see there's characters that look like Piccolo. There's characters that look like other characters from other shows. It's about this dude who's miserable with work, who isn't. And he decided to, I'm going to do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups, and now I can fly, and I can kill everybody with one punch. Shit doesn't make sense to me. Okay.
What do you call it? But you know the story behind One Punch Man, right?
Yeah, a guy wanted to make his own show.
Yeah. I thought that was actually pretty interesting. But
That's great.
when
I'm all for creating and
no, but when you find out the history behind, how this whole thing came about, it makes sense as to when you watch it, you realize it's just an amalgamation of everything else that you've already seen.
yeah.
So it goes back to your point. Like I've watched a few episodes of One Punch Man. I kind of like it. I'm not in love with it.
Yeah, it's like
I don't hate it.
I'm not gonna say that I don't hate it. I'm just not really into it.
Right.
Maybe I have to give it more of a chance.
Right.
I really haven't got to sit down and watch every single episode. But from what I've seen, it's like been there, done that for
Right.
me because I've seen so many anime. There's so many characters and stories and shows I fell in love with, and I just don't see myself, getting emotionally invested in Saitama. I don't know. Maybe I could. But that's going to be my growth in my journey as well.
Right.
As someone that appreciates and loves anime so much, you come to terms with that not everyone's going to tickle your fancy,
Right.
or maybe you misjudged it. Maybe you had an off day. But I'm going here and saying that it didn't do it for me.
Well, and maybe it's not really for you.
Yeah.
It might be.
Like, I'm a guy that loves
just for
Inuyasha.
Right.
Not many guys probably like Inuyasha. It's a feudal love story. I'm a big guy, a muscular guy, tough guy, But here I am. I love the show. I love the story. I love the characters. It's a beautiful story. Then you have other shows that just throw things together and just like, okay. And no pun intended, that's what he says in the show and in the manga. Okay. So when you have other shows like Bleach and Full Metal Alchemist, Hellsing, you have these actions and storylines and characters, and they all mean something because they have history, they have development. And then you got a guy who was just put here because someone wanted a show, and he took influences from other shows. It looks, I remember just coming in on an episode and watching it. It looked like it was straight out of Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
So I'd rather watch Goku and Vegeta brawl than a bald guy and get some big purple ass guy. I don't know. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Hey, listen, you don't have to like everything. It's
For all those people probably then they're gonna be listening to this, they're gonna be crying and bitching and moaning because listen. I'm not saying don't watch the show. I'm all for everyone watching anime. This is what the show is about. That's what I'm about as the ambassador. I'm just saying that you need to not be taking things so much to heart. Don't be such a fanboy, a fangirl,
Right.
to put it.
Listen,
And-
everyone has the right to, like something, dislike something. I mean, again, like,
And that's what makes things interesting.
Right.
And that's what makes conversation and discussion start. That's what anime forums are all about on the internet, especially with conventions. When I was going to Anime Next, they had the forums, and we would discuss different topics and things like that. And this is how you expand your mind, expand your taste for anime, meet new people. And we're going to be talking about meetings and meetups and conventions and cosplay throughout the length of the show. But right now we're just going to be talking about the different shows and our journey with it. And
the meetups should be fun. Hopefully, people
meetups
buy
are
me
great.
drinks.
Anime conventions,
Buy me drinks.
they're not overly Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're not at all. You can always get a ticket. You don't have to go and have the Hunger Games type of thing going on like New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic
I'm
Con.
so over that shit.
It-
Listen,
and then when you get in there, you're just walking around for hours and just nothing really for you to do
Right.
if you're into seeing panels
it's
and screenings. That's great for you.
it's not for the fans.
It's not at all.
It's just, I mean, Hollywood has completely taken over. And listen, this is from a guy that actually wants to get a job at Hollywood one day. But I hate how like Hollywood has just completely taken over Comic-Con.
Yeah.
They put the fucking artists in a fucking basement to the side. I'm like, but you guys are the ones creating this
And
shit.
it's funny because I rather walk through Artist Alley than through the main floor.
I spend my whole day at Artist Alley.
Artist Alley, you can at least walk around. You can see the art.
Right.
This is what it's about. If you loved your comics, you
Right.
love animation, anime. Who makes it?
Right.
Illustrators.
The writers,
The
the
writers.
artists. I mean, they need to work together to bring this stuff to life. And those guys get set to the side because you want to have a fucking panel for
the actors and the,
right.
the studios.
It was one thing when like, all right, so this is what bothered me the most, right? So when Hollywood started invading, Comic-Con,
Yeah.
at least at the time, it was relative to the industry. So like, all right, we're gonna have a panel for Blade. We're gonna have a panel for whatever comic book adaptation that they're making,
Yeah.
or video game adaptation. Those things make sense. And then all of a sudden, like, there's like panels for shit like, I don't know, Gilmore Girls or some shit like
That's
that.
terrible.
You know what I mean?
Has
Like,
nothing to do
I'm not
with
saying
fucking
Gilmore
comic-
Girls is there, but for things like that, I'm like, why are you even here? Get the fuck out of here.
This is a convention about comic books
Right.
and fans.
Right.
And what
Listen.
we want to see things about the comics,
Yeah.
and the characters behind it.
If it's about cartoons, comics, what do you call it? Video games,
Oh, yeah,
action
especially
figures.
video games.
It belongs in the world.
Yes.
And yes, certain movies do have a place at Comic-Con. I believe a lot of fantasy and science fiction movies have a place at Comic-Con. Science fiction and fantasy TV shows have a place at Comic-Con. Not like I see these random things that have these fucking panels at Comic-Con, and I'm like, what the fuck are you here? This doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. And then all that, having the movie stars come, that's great. To meet your stars, the characters, that they portray on the screen, you get to meet them.
Right.
That's fantastic. But this causes panic, chaos.
Right.
You're trying to get tickets. They put you in this godforsaken online queue. You do everything you're supposed to do. You're waiting there like an asshole on your computer for an hour and change or more. You finally get in. The fucking tickets are sold out that you want because the 4-day, the 3 days are sold at a big discount. And then they got the single days. Who the fuck wants to buy the single days? So you know what? You don't go. And I'm not going to go for 1 day. And I'd rather not go at all. And I'd rather just stick to my roots and do anime conventions because I can always get a pass.
Yeah.
I get press badges. I can go for free. And you know what? You'll have more fun. It's more of a community. You're gonna meet great cosplayers.
It's not even about getting for free. It's just more about being around people that are true fans.
That too.
And it's not being corrupted by this outside bullshit.
But free is good.
You know what I mean? No, listen, free is always good. But I'm just saying in terms of like, first of all, like Comic-Con tickets are just like way overpriced.
Yes. Like I can get tickets for Anime Expo right now for 4 days for $55.
Right.
And that's huge. In my eyes, it's bigger than New York Comic Con. And I was so disappointed I couldn't get to go. And that looked fantastic. The after party looked great with Funimation, Sonic Boombox. Shout out to you guys.
Yep.
I look forward, hopefully, going next year.
It's always next year.
And we can do our show over there or one of the conventions coming up. I would love to do that.
Yeah. Because
anime conventions are really great. You can talk to anybody. Dragon Con is a really huge and popular anime convention.
Yeah.
It's not mainstream. You're not going to know about it unless you're into the culture. You're into this.
Is that the one in Atlanta?
Yeah. That's coming up, I think. Soon.
We know a guy that constantly goes. Shout out to Arch Max.
Yeah, Arch Max. Jim Bagel.
What's up?
What's good, guys? I know you want to be inside Dragon Con, Arch Max. I saw that post.
I thought you were gonna say inside something else. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure he wants to be too, but.
Oh, just think of. Just think about too. And I like how we're just being all over the place. I don't give a fuck.
No, that's how great conversations take place, man.
But when we're
totally off the cuff here. We don't have a fucking script or anything. We're two guys speaking on mine.
Oh, let's get into the shows that I was assigned to watch this week. So, Matt forced me to watch this.
I didn't force you to do shit.
Fuck that. All right, so I watched Bleach. I watched Full Metal Alchemist, and I finally watched Naruto.
Naruto? What the fuck is Naruto, man?
Naruto, the one with the kid with the blonde hair, looks European, but it's supposed to be Japanese.
You mean Naruto, man?
What?
Naruto.
Oh, dude.
Naruto.
I'm so used to saying Naruto.
Nah, don't say Naruto.
Is something bad gonna happen to me? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, you're gonna have a bunch of fangirls jump on top of you and glob you to death.
Well, usually I have to pay for that stuff, so I guess you'll be saving me the money. My wife might hate it though.
I don't think she'd be too happy.
Polish power. Anyway,
So what'd you think of the three?
all right.
Was it now when you said Full Metal? Is it Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood or just regular Full Metal Alchemist?
I think it was the regular. Yeah, I think it was the regular one.
Wasn't Brotherhood? It didn't have Brotherhood in the title.
I don't think it did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Brotherhood is a very tight adaptation from the manga. It's mirror image.
So is it two separate series?
Yeah.
Same
Different series.
different series.
There's Full Metal Alchemist, which is it's based on the manga, but it's a different different
Loosely
story.
based.
Yeah, and it has a different story, different ending. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is mirror image to the manga.
Okay, I believe I just watched. Actually, let me just check my Netflix right now.
Yeah, this way we can get clarification for our
Right.
viewers. I mean, our listeners. Excuse me.
Right.
We used to do a video show.
Damn apps. All right, so so what other differences was there between like the Brotherhood series versus the one that I might have potentially watched? It was just basically about not being faithful.
Without trying to spoil it for you, because this is new for you.
Yeah.
Just very major things. It's very different.
All right, so I just checked. Yeah, it was regular Full Metal Alchemist I watched.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is good.
I mean, listen. So I've never.
And pretty much the beginning is the
Right.
same. What happened to them is the same.
They go to a town.
It's just out.
Yeah.
The way that one starts. It starts out with them already established as alchemists, and as you watch further into that series, you'll see when they were children, what happened, what led to Ed having his metal arm and leg,
Right.
which is called automail.
Okay.
So it's really cool. And
I mean,
what'd you think of the shows?
All right. So out of the three, I liked. I mean, I wasn't that into Bleach. I just think that some of the comedy just appeared out of nowhere, and again, it just reminded me of some of the issues that I had with anime, like 15, 20 years ago. It was okay. Like there were some things about that I liked, but out of the three, I liked it the least.
The reason for comedy in that show is because as the story continues, and if you read the manga and watch the series, is a lot of really deep, sometimes could be depressing stuff in that show.
Right.
So you have some of the comedy peppered in there. Is it the funniest stuff? No. Can it be awkward? Yeah, sure. But that's anime. But
Oh yeah, I like that. It can be awkward.
That's anime, and yeah. So, but that's a good observation.
And again, I don't think, and it felt pretty cliche almost too, in my opinion. And again, I'm gonna give the show more of a chance.
Yeah, you just only saw the first episode.
First episode. I'm gonna try to watch a few more in the next few weeks.
Because I remember watching the first episode when I didn't know what Bleach was. Were
you blown away the first time, or do you remember?
No, because when I was introduced to Bleach, at the time I was doing Tiger Showmans, of course. And what anime fan doesn't do martial arts and weightlifting and all these things that inspire you to want to be like your heroes on TV and all that shit. So my Deshi was big into Bleach, and he knew I was big into anime and everything. And he's like, "Oh, did you check out Bleach?" I'm like, "Bleach? What's that?" He's like, "Oh, this is anime, man. You gotta check it out." Sure, what I did, I went and checked it out, and I was hooked. I think my first episode I saw, because I wanted to just not start at the beginning, because usually I just want to test something as it's already like established,
Right.
and I want to see, without knowing who anyone is, if I'm going to get hooked by that episode.
Right.
And I remember watching, I think it was episode 92, that was
shit.
turned out to be a filler arc, the Banto era.
92. Holy shit.
Episode 92.
How many episodes are there? By the
In
way?
Bleach?
Yeah.
Well, I think over almost 200, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes. I could see that because it's been on the. I've heard about Bleach since fucking forever.
Yeah.
Probably about like 8 or 9 years ago, and I'm finally watching this shit.
So seeing that episode, I dug it. So then I went back to one, and then went straight on binge watch until I caught up to when it was being introduced every week, and I was known as the Bleach fanboy at the time. When anyone wanted to know what was going on with Bleach, they
Did you
would
cosplay as a...
I did cosplay as Ichigo, and I had the best Zangetsu ever made. And again, those pictures you can find on my Instagram at I am Matt Swagger. And I had a great time cosplaying. I made the sword. It's made out of 100% wood. I went and bought a big piece of wood from Home Depot.
Did he say wood?
What? Yes, I did. Got it from Home Depot, drew the design on it, had it cut and sanded for me, and then I painted it. And it turned out great.
Nice.
At least 20, 30 pounds. So,
Oh, shit.
and when I went to Anime Next, it was in July. It was at least 90 degrees, and I had that hot costume on, the Shihakusho, which is Death God apparel in Japanese. And it's like, wow. But having people stop me to take pictures, and this was cosplaying before cosplay was popular. It was glorified. People were being photographed and for professional reasons and doing these things online, recreating scenes from comics and things like that. It was very much underground. You were ridiculed for doing it. You were called stupid. Why do you do that? It's not Halloween. What's wrong with you? You're a freak.
I'm sorry, Matt. I didn't mean to say those things.
I know you're a bastard.
Yes.
But
Self-proclaimed, by the way.
yes. But remembering that what work I put into the costume and going there and having fun and having people say, "Oh, can you stop? I want to take a picture." And like, "Oh, all right, cool." And I didn't think anything of it at the time, and now as I see cosplay grow into what it is, and how much better the costumes are getting and how fast they're produced, like seeing the new Spider-Man game come out, just seeing it, I think within a couple of hours, people are already doing a design for it because they want to cosplay the new Spider-Man costume from the video game, and for Overwatch, which is a huge Blizzard game for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox One, you have all these people wanting to cosplay the characters from the game. This is how big cosplay is, because it can lead into modeling, and
There's also
you're living your
competitions.
in that too, and you're just
Making
living
money
your.
now. You can make some money doing it.
You can make money doing that. You can get a job in the industry, like one Jessica Negri did, dressing up as a sexy Pikachu. Now she does voice acting and modeling, and you know what? She's a beautiful girl, and she was just in the right place at the right time. And does she
we
mucho?
met her.
Does she?
We
I don't.
met her, right?
No way, no. She was at Anime Expo though, but does she mucho for her fans? Yes. Do fans send her stuff and she makes videos about it? I guess that's her way of showing appreciation. But these are the differences. You got people that over embellish and they say they care and they take things for granted, and then you have people that struggle, that scratch and claw, and they work hard and they appreciate what's going on around them. You know, not to say that she doesn't, but that's me observing shit. So
Yeah,
anyway,
well, you can send me shit.
you could send me shit and I can make a video of it and throw sparkles and eat glue and all that bullshit she does to get views and clicks and shit. That's great. And you can watch her big breast as she tries to do a stream on Twitch. That's all cool, man. It's all cool when you girls, you want to sell your sexuality. That's awesome.
I'm sorry, man. You had me a big breast.
And she does have them.
What else did I watch? I probably.
You said Naruto.
Naruto. I really dug that, and now. How did you feel about when you watched Naruto for the first time?
Man, you're doing a Cartoon Network. What they did when they first put Naruto on air, they were calling him Naruto, and that shit was quickly changed because it's Naruto. I know.
Cartoon Network should have stuck to their guns.
No, there would have been lynchings and riots.
Well, that's their problem, not mine.
With English, everything is straightforward. You see Naruto, you think it's Naruto.
Right.
So when you learn,
So in Canada, is it like Naruto? Or?
I have no fucking idea.
Hey. Remember when Chris Jericho used to do that shit?
Chris Jericho's
in WCW.
Chris Jericho's the
He's
man.
always emphasized the A
Again.
Because
it's spelt with A and gain at the end. It makes sense. Again.
A.
It just rhymed with what he was saying. So Chris Jericho's a legend. Leave him alone.
Ayatollah.
A rock and roller.
Anyway, back to Naruto.
Yeah, so what I thought of Naruto at the time when it was first put, I didn't see it in its original form. I saw it on Cartoon Network, of course. and the dubbing is horrible. So right away, I just hated it. I hate when you have women voice actors to play a young adolescent male.
Well, there's a reason for that.
I know, but I don't like it because you can tell it's a girl's voice.
They even do that in the Boondocks.
The only
Even
one that
Bart
could.
Simpson, his voice.
I know,
Yeah.
but he sounds more like a guy though, still Bart. But the only one I think could pull that shit off is Tara Strong. So, but like even in Dragon Ball Z, you got Gohan is a woman's voice, and
Could you imagine me voicing like like a child character?
yes,
Like, hey mom, need some milk.
yeah, why not? But besides the dubbing, I just saw another character that was a troublemaker who wanted attention, and
Definitely
I
cliche.
really wasn't that hooked at the get go until I kept watching. I didn't give up on it. I just wasn't all right. I wasn't blown away, and then until I kept seeing the story, and I wanted to see why Naruto was acting the way he was, giving glimpses of who his father was, why they're not telling him that he had a dad, or what happened to his dad and his mom, and what happened in the village that he grew up in. And
It's all very cliche.
so, yeah, definitely.
I liked it though.
But-
Yeah.
What happened? That's one of my favorite shows, Naruto Shippuden, the second show. Naruto is one of my favorite characters. He's someone closely aligned to Goku, who always believes in what's right, he's in control of his destiny, and he's going to do whatever he can to become stronger to protect his family and friends. Who wouldn't look up to someone like that? Yeah, he's a clown. He wanted attention because no one wanted to bother with him because of the demon Fox inside him and all that. They think that he's the one that destroyed the village back then. And the kid is innocent. And I'm not going to spoil it for Brave Dave. I'm going to let him go on that journey and find out the story. But Naruto is a beautiful anime. It's just how things start. Can't always judge the book by its cover.
Well,
and getting back to...
I connected with it instantly because recently I started working with kids, and his character reminded me of some of the children I have to deal with.
Yeah, typical troublemaker.
Right, and but the thing is though, like his sensei was what Iruka sensei.
Ruka Sensei.
So I was able to connect with that character more because the role that I'm playing is of a teacher, and I have a group of kids that I got to deal with, and
I like that you got to deal with them. That's right.
right. I mean, and you have kids. All right, so I do have a couple kids that are very similar to the character of Naruto.
Okay.
Right, and in the sense of like, I know they're good kids, but they just get into trouble.
Yeah.
Like they enjoy the mischief. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so I think that's why I was able to connect with the first episode a little bit better than you in a sense. Like in the place that I'm in my life right now.
We're watching it in different time periods
Right,
too.
right. I mean, you probably watched it 10 years ago.
Yeah, I watched it when I was much younger, and
Had I
watching
watched
other
it-
anime,
right.
and then just what really probably did it for me is the horrible English dub, because when I watched it in Japanese, 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
So that's going into that too. To be fair to that episode and to the show, it sucked in English. The English version sucks. They edit the blood, they edit everything, they change the dialogue. I hate that. Keep it in its original format. If you can't make it work, take a page out of Funimation's book. They make Dragon Ball Z work. They made Full Metal Alchemist work. And I think Viz did the dubbing for Naruto, if I'm not mistaken. They did a hell of a job for Inuyasha, but Naruto, God, man, such a big disappointment.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all fairness, I prefer watching anime in Japanese and reading the subtitles. I like to hear the original dialogue. I love the sound of the language. That's what appealed to me. And the culture, I'm a big fan of samurai, the Bushido. I'm a big fan of all that. And just hearing the language, it's beautiful. It's, even though it's a lot to take in,
Right.
it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel like I'm not here. It makes me feel like when I'm watching maybe a samurai movie, I'm back there in the feudal era. Especially when I'm watching Inuyasha, I love that because it has the elements of the samurai movies and shit I like. So that's why I connect with that show. Plus, it has demons, it has magic, it has powerful swords. Shit I all like. Who doesn't like powerful weapons that transform? Beautiful stories, characters. Like Naraku's, man. I know we're getting off topic here, but that's whatever. It's our show. Naraku's one of the coolest villains because he always has other people do his dirty work. He never sullies his own hands, and he's just very complicated, very complex character, and his origins and shit like that. That's another show you should give a chance. That I'm gonna ask you to.
What's the name of that show again?
Inuyasha.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard.
And
Yeah, he has like red orange hair or something like that.
no.
Am I thinking about another show?
He's got silver hair. He has dog ears.
Oh,
with a red kimono that's made from the hair of a fire rat.
Dude,
don't get me started.
Dude, there's fucking too much anime out
Dude,
there, bro.
but this is what it's all about, man. See, you're upsetting the ambassador right now.
Yeah.
First with Naruto, and now you don't know who Inuyasha is. He's got orange hair. No, Ichigo has orange hair, bro.
I'm pronouncing.
That's why they call him Strawberry. Dude.
Strawberry Fields.
Oh, God. You're going to make a lot of otaku very angry.
Yeah, they can suck it.
Oh!
I'm doing the DX sign right now for those who can't see.
Who watches wrestling? I'm sure many of you
Me.
do. I do.
Not anymore because it's just garbage. Unless we're talking about Lucha Underground, and that's amazing.
I still watch it. I don't care. I love it. As bad as it is, I'll still try to get through it and
I'm not giving
work my
Vince,
bathroom breaks around the bad matches and the horrible women segments that they always screw the women.
Sorry, I'm not giving Vince any more money than I have. And,
God damn it! Give me your money.
Yeah. Like I'll save that for Lucha Underground, which is amazing.
Lucha. You like it because it's more like a show. It's
I mean,
done.
it's
It's production wise. It's like like you're watching an episode of a show.
Listen.
It's
for
not
years,
this live, mess that they're doing now.
Right. Well, I mean, wrestling historically, like 20, 30 years ago, everything was always pre-recorded and that kind of stuff. And I love the storytelling aspect of it. And it's funny because I think there are some similarities to what we see in Lucha Underground to anime.
Yeah. The gimmicks, the mysticism,
right?
And all that.
There's sci-fi elements.
Yeah.
There's mystical shit that goes on. You know what I mean? Like there's the different characters, the mask, and some people have like powers at times. It's weird and it's kind of all over the place. But
it's, like we are right now.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the way I describe Lucha Underground to someone is like this. It's a beautiful mess.
Yeah,
it really is, and I love it.
And that's
man.
how you could describe our show,
right? And I love the fact that it's an hour long. I don't have to fucking sit through 3 hours of fucking Monday Night Raw. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
I'm more verklempt over here.
And then wait a few more days for fucking SmackDown for another few hours.
It's gonna be live now, bro. Tuesday, SmackDown live.
Well, that's better.
So you're gonna have the Monday Night Raw 3-hour flagship show, and then you're gonna have SmackDown live Tuesday nights.
Fuck that.
No more spoilers online.
Fuck that, dude. I'm not excited about that shit.
Right.
I don't need 5 hours of fucking what do you call it? Vince TV every fucking week. I don't need that shit.
I mean, I'm a fan of Vince. I like his portrayal of the ignorant, dumbass boss.
But dude, he was doing that back in fucking 1997 or 8 when that whole Steve Austin thing. Like, listen, it was great. I love the superhero era with guys like Hogan and Warrior and Macho Man. I love the cartoon era with the Bret Harts and the Shawn Michaels and that whole thing. I love the Attitude Era. Anything that was really post Attitude Era to me was kind of weak.
Well, once they went PG, everything changed. The blood, everything, all that.
Yeah.
Not looking at naked women and all the questionable things that they did to get ratings, because they were at a time they had big competition,
right?
And that's what they had to do. They had to resort to those tactics.
Right.
Now they don't have to. Now they're creating competition for themselves. But getting back, what was the other episode that you checked out? You had
Full Metal Alchemist.
You Full Metal. Yeah. You saw Naruto and Bleach. Okay. Yeah. So overall,
and I like Full Metal Alchemist. It was cool. I think again, Naruto, I connected with that story a lot better than the other two.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
again-
it's going to be hard for you with that version of Full Metal because the first episode starts with them later in the story. Then it goes backwards. Then they go right back to that point in time
it's
again.
gonna be one of these weird
Yeah,
shits.
so-
one of these anime rides. All right.
In that particular, if you watch the Brotherhood one,
Okay, so here's my question, and I guess this is a question that a lot of listeners who are new to anime will be asking.
yeah,
Should I just skip the regular Fullmetal Alchemist and just go straight to Brotherhood?
depends. I know it all depends if you're a fan of the manga. See how you are. You didn't read the manga,
Right.
and my opinion, I would say watch Brotherhood first.
All right. Well, I mean, I already watched the other one
Yeah.
first, like the first episode.
I'm
All right,
saying,
so I'll go
to do Brotherhood
right.
and see how that is. See how
Right.
you connect because there's characters in the regular one that
Right.
I'm sorry, there's characters in Brotherhood that you're not going to see in the original
Right.
adaptation,
Right.
and it just takes away from the story. It has a good story and it's right, but that's like an alternate version. I prefer the manga version because you got these different characters and that play a vital part in the story. It's a beautiful story. It has a great ending. It leaves it open for hopefully for it to come back. That's what I like.
Okay.
If a story's gonna end and it gives you a inkling that it might come back, I'm all for it because money talks, bullshit walks. So I know when there's gonna be time, like, well, man, we need some money. Like that's why Dragon Ball Super's here.
Yeah.
We're gonna need some money. You know what? People really love Full Metal Alchemist. Let's bring Ed back and Alphonse. Let's try to get him to get a different kind of alchemy back and whatever.
All right, so I'm definitely gonna check out Brotherhood. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Great. Sounds great. Make sure you take Inuyasha into that as well.
Okay.
And this
Great,
is
more fucking homework.
Yeah, you better do it too, because I'm gonna check your Netflix.
You gotta check my queue.
I'm gonna check your queue. Don't give me your password, because that's a crime now. Oh my god. But yeah, this is a great episode. We talked about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we got to know more what Brave Dave thought and what my feelings are on certain things, and hopefully you enjoyed our fresh perspective. It's unique.
That should be the least important thing, like Brave Dave's thoughts.
Brave Dave's thoughts. The Cowardly Lion.
The Cowardly Lion. I love it.
And you're not going to find many shows like ours. Yeah, you're going to find people talking about anime, but not how we're talking about it. It's just off the cuff. We're speaking our mind and taking it from someone who's been watching anime for a pretty long time and still continues to support the industry and promote it. And just want to thank everybody for joining us again. And let's find out if Brave Dave's going to enjoy Brotherhood, he's going to enjoy Inuyasha. Let's find out in the next episode of the Anime Aspect. For Brave Dave, I'm Matt Swagger. See you next time, everybody.
Hey! She's fucked up.
That is fucked up, man.